Hello, hello, hello. I am just with delight to be doing this video. I'm also feeling very connected to, held by, surrounded by the divine, by God. I feel a little drunk on the love of God, and I hope some of that wears off. Part of why I feel a little drunk is because I heard some good news. And so people talk about the gospel this and the gospel that and da-da-da. Let's get really clear what the word gospel means. It means good news, and it's what Jesus called his message. He called his message the good news, and gospel is just a English translation of a Latin word, of a Greek, it goes back to a Greek word. It just means good news. And so what is the good news? And if you ask different Christians, what is the gospel of Jesus Christ? You'll get a lot of different answers and a lot of sometimes elaborate teachings, but it's actually really simple, and you can boil it down to one word. It's a really good word. Inevitability. Inevitability. Inevitable means something that is absolutely, positively going to happen. 100%, 100 out of 100 times. You could say that which is destined, like absolutely destined. But why is that good news? Well, I'm going to have to cheat a little and use two words. Inevitable heaven. That means for you, for me, heaven, that's the good news of Jesus Christ, is that heaven, infinite, eternal, never-ending bliss, love, joy, is inevitable. The gospel gets a little more clear if you'll let me use three words. And three, of course, is considered a very sacred number in Christianity, so it's apropos, I think. Inevitable, universal heaven. What do I mean by universal? That means all-inclusive for everyone. But the gospel becomes really clear if you'll let me use four words. Inevitable heaven for everyone. Boom! End of story. That's the good news. The good news is you and me and my roommate and your boss and the person you don't like and the person you love the most and everyone. Inevitable heaven for everyone. Said another way, there's a party. There's an infinite love, bliss, joy, happiness, sacred party that goes on forever. Once you're there, suffering is done forever. That's my definition of salvation, and permanent end of suffering. And not only are you invited, me, not only is everyone invited, but everyone is going to make it there. Everyone's going to arrive at the party sooner or later. And once you make it to the party, you never leave. So just thinking about it and talking about it brings so much joy. And truly, what else could be good news? So much of what we've been taught, the gospel is awful news, right? Like some people, heaven, some people tortured forever. Some people, heaven, some people annihilated forever. That's not good news. That's awful news. Even if you make it into heaven, that's awful news. Because what if your spouse doesn't? Or what if your child or your parent or your dog? And worse, who could enjoy heaven knowing that people are being tortured for all eternity? No one here on this earth can really enjoy the earth as long as there's a single hungry person, as long as there's a single suffering person, as long as we as human beings, we care. We want everyone to be happy. We want harmony for everyone. That beautiful, beautiful impulse and desire was placed in our hearts by God. And we're made in the image and likeness of God. So I hope this good news brings you some good feelings. It's good tidings as far as I can tell. And not as far as I can tell. It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate joy. It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate. What else can you say? Inevitability. It's some really good news. Isn't it the best news? I'm just speechless with such a deep peace. Said in the most simplest terms, the gospel is this: everything's going to be all right. We as human beings, we put on all these, life really complicated, but really, I believe most of, if not all of our suffering comes from not believing that everything's going to be all right. Isn't that what we all want to trust, to know, to live? That no matter what's going on, everything's going to be all right. And then we take that and we apply that very human desire, that very human yearning to have that sense that everything's going to be all right. And then we look at it from a metaphysical or a spiritual point of view. And that's the gospel. There's the good news. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And thank you so much for dropping by. Take care. Much love.